The US left does not have the right to judge anybody. What gives the US left the right to do anything only comes after the US left builds political power in the United States. First, you build power here, then let's talk. Otherwise, you're just a college professor.
Supposed to be about China. This is supposed to be about China. Why is he talking about the United States? Because, friends, frankly, the United States does not have the right to judge anybody. The United States does not have the right to judge anybody. And as a subsection of that statement, the US left does not have the right to judge anybody. Because what gives the US left the right to do anything only comes after the US left builds political power in the United States. First you build power here, then let's talk. Otherwise, you're just a college professor. Otherwise, you're just a college professor. Or you're somebody who has nothing better to do than go on the internet and harass political forces outside the United States. So that's the first point. Because secondly, it's not just that it's not just that the United States doesn't have the right to judge anybody. Look what the United States...
Building power is not going to happen through electoralism. Building power is reclaiming power outside of what our democratic process offers. There is no way to use the confines of this current system to demand power for members of the protected classes, the masses of the marginalized and the oppressed. There is absolutely no way that you can play by the rules of a system designed to maintain oppression for those who have never been given nor granted political power, not by accident, by force, by the force of a system that has been threaded with the violence inherently enacted to maintain social coercion of the masses of people who are affected by this hierarchy, never to be given adequate power. And that is not something that you can vote into fruition. You cannot will that into existence. You have to take it. You have to take that power. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. This is a highly coercive, highly oppressive system that, think about how hard you gotta work to get to the voting booth, depending on where you live. Because the information that you provide to the powers that be is used against you. You think the Census Bureau is here for all of the right reasons? No, the Census Bureau is here to gerrymander just as much as it is to provide federal funding. Those who hold the levers of power will do whatever they can so long as it maintains their position, their hegemonic placement, this order that we call our social contracts. If it were so easy to balance the playing field, it would have been done already. We wouldn't have to keep talking about why the civil rights movement wasn't enough. Overturning Jim Crow laws weren't enough. Implementing affirmative action wasn't enough. getting Ruth Bader Ginsburg into the Supreme Court. That wasn't enough. Roe v. Wade wasn't enough. Electing Barack Obama as president wasn't enough. None of these things that have all happened through electoralism have ever been enough. So why would we continue to go back to the same drawing board and try to figure out how we can continue to fight these powers that be from within this incredibly coercive system to achieve the ultimate goal of liberation for all of those who are right now experiencing some semblance of oppression? Economic, social, political, what have you. What will be enough? Eventually, whenever you have a congressional body bending to the will of the people, so that we no longer have to throw our hands up in the air and ask ourselves why, policies that tend to poll quite favorably that will never be implemented are finally implemented. Actual freedom. And that can be achieved through organizing and activating a group of political dissidents to reclaim the power that has been stolen. Giving power back into the hands of the original descendants of this country would be a great place to start as well. And then we can start talking about, we can have these discussions about how electoralism, if programmed effectively and was functioning as it's intended for the people, that is actually democratic and not just some makeshift oligarchy and only democratic in name. Can we talk about having public servants occupying positions of power that are actually beholden to the interest of their people? But until then, fuck electoralism. For now. Change my mind. Change my mind. Kind of style. And plus, you know how I do, chat. I believe that if you want, I think that local politics would be the most effective place to get going.
States is doing. I mean, just think about this. I talked about Code Pink. Code Pink said in 2001, don't go to war in Afghanistan. The only elected official that joined Code Pink was Barbara Lee of California. Every single other member of the United States Congress enthusiastically said, let's go ahead and bomb that shitty country. That's what they said.
Even if they didn't say that verbatim, they pretty much did nominally, so whatever.